Is it on? I can't. Is it still say connecting?
No, I think you're red. Hold on a second.
Double check before we start doing the video. Nothing happened.
You're rolling, baby.
All right, 10 seconds in. 10 seconds in. All right, so I meant to do this last week, guys. I know you guys, some of you were looking forward to it about what is up with BB6 and how BB6 affects you, right? Because it is way different. It is going to be actually bloodbaths. I think its first game is just bloodbath. We are ditching Axis and Allies 100%, and though you're still going to use the pieces, but as far as it's going to be, it's so different than anything you have probably ever played.
Pretty exciting.
And, yeah, I mean, and I know some of you guys are really Axis and Allies fans, and you know, and we might lose some of you. I mean, as far as wanting to continue the BBR journey, because it is that different. But I guarantee one day you will come back. You will come back.
I don't think so. Well, first of all, thanks to Sireblood for just your creation of Bloodbath rule set. I mean, it's been awesome. It's gotten a lot of us, at least speaking for myself, back into Axis and Allies. But it's just been a lot of fun. And I think once BB6 is fully developed, I think your reputation and creativity on what you've done with G40 and how you've kind of transformed that into Bloodbath, I think you've gained a lot of respect and street cred, I guess you could say, to where if you're going to put out a product, people are going to want to check it out and see what it's about. So I doubt you're going to lose many people. Because, look, BB 1 through 5 is still there.
It's still there.
You may not support it or refurbish it or reinvent it in the old way, but I still dig BB 4 and 5. So if you want to play it, pull out your map and play, man. Just like BB 1. I mean, you can still do it if that's what you want.
So, why am I ditching G40? I cannot do anything else with it. I've peeked that out. Aside from let's tweak this thing and maybe add a couple more guys over here, I'm done with it. It's just there's not the excitement level for me to go into that product any longer. I'm done. It's just there's no more excitement, and my excitement level for BB6 is like 1,000 times greater than trying to mess with G40 anymore. And there's several reasons for it. One reason is just the Allies just need more time sometimes on these games. And I do not want to go past 8 rounds. Eight rounds is a good day's play. It's a good tournament play. Because I've been asked, hey, I think maybe let's do 9 rounds so the Allies get another. I don't want to do 9 rounds. That could be a potential hour and a half longer. Now, granted, it could be some games it's going to be an extra half an hour, but to make it where it's 9 rounds and to have events that are 9 rounds just is not really feasible.
Well, the purpose of people asking for 9 rounds is because of a couple factors, which I think your BB6 idea is going to solve. The first reason is being, I think, a lot of times the Axis strategy to win is to do what to the Allies?
You don't let them play.
You don't let them play. You keep them out of the game for half the game.
And they don't play, they can't win.
Right. So there's that.
And we tried to fix that in BB5 as much as we could. By if this and this and this happened, Russia can declare war, and we lifted the naval restrictions on 3 for U.S. You can't allow countries to go to war when they didn't want to go to war. So it's not like we could change those political situations to allow them to declare war when it wouldn't happen. They didn't want to fight.
Right.
So
your solution to not adding a turn 9, but yet still allowing the Allies to have more time to play the game, even if the Axis decide to keep them out as long as possible, is
41.
41.
41.
But yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so basically, we're going to do turn 1 for you as historically as we can. So what that means is that your G1 is going to go flawlessly. You're going to succeed in Paris. You're going to be set up for Barbarossa if that's what you want to do. You're going to have guys in Africa. Rommel's down there. You're going to have some units down there in Tunis. You're going to there would be the British ships won't be in Sea Zone 110 and 111. Not to say you would have destroyed them, because they had a huge fleet, but they're not going to be there. They're going to be somewhere else. Some dead, some not dead, but neither way, none concern to you. Armistice will be in effect. You will have the choice to keep armistice, don't keep armistice. Basically, imagine you did everything you wanted to on G1, and it worked.
It worked.
And you didn't lose. You know, it's not like you barely took Paris.
Well, a game should not. I've heard some people say that if Germany doesn't take Paris on G1, like you might as well just restart it over. But like a tournament shouldn't. Forget tournament. Just play should not be determined upon a bad roll.
Yeah, correct. Correct.
In Paris, because it happened, right?
So now with that, Japan will be as far as Kui Chao.
Yeah.
Japan will control French Indochina. There's going to be a lot of stuff that Japan is going to have, in addition to be set up to do Pearl Harbor with planes only. If that's what you wanted to do. It'll be set up, not only set up to do planes only, it's going to be set up where you can get in and get out, and you're not going to get killed. I mean, you will not. I'm not saying you won't lose planes during the battle, but you will not have to worry about, now here comes America and Commonwealth to destroy your ships.
You're not going to have to sacrifice your entire Navy just to do a J1.
J1 will be back. Not saying it's 100% that's what you want to do, but it will be on the table for sure. J1 will be back on the table, so that will be awesome.
Okay.
Also, and then Barbarossa's back on the table.
Barbarossa's back on the table because Germany will already be in a position to do.
You have nothing. What else are they going to do? He did everything they wanted to do, and it's on a timeline where they should be going in. Now, you don't have to, but
and Germany would start with a pretty decent purse on turn 1.
Yeah.
Because they would have just raided the French coffers. So obviously Russia will have more pieces on the board and in a perhaps more aggressive position or defensive position.
Yeah, and also obviously since the game is starting 1 year sooner or later, we'll have to add more territories. Japan can't be throwing that factory down in French Indochina on turn 1, which they can, but we need more space. They need a little more meat grinding in there. So, and I know I said there'll be no more map changes, but that was when I was messing with G40. So for G40, there'll be no more map changes. I'm done. So this is a new game, 100% new game.
Right.
New setup, new objectives, new everything.
So Taranto for Italy. Taranto, 1941. It's already happened.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. British already killed those French ships. Germany will have bombers ready to hit London for, I forget what they called that. What was that campaign they did? But either way, when they kept bombing the hell out of London, well, you're set up for that. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
And so the bloodbath is this. It's really going to start on turn 1. Turn 1 in G40. Not only is it really scripted, per se, but everyone does pretty much the same thing. You don't have to do that. It's leading that way. Japan just does all that crap they do on turn 1 to make 40. All their ships are down there. And Germany has a couple choices, but it's generally one or the other. Am I attacking 110 and 11 or just 110? Am I trying to get the factory in southern France, but not trying to get the factory in southern France? And then attacking Paris. So instead of wasting time playing around that we pretty much know which way it's going to happen, why don't we just take that round out and we'll start, and then we'll have our 8-round game.
Yeah, and without and you instantly have the U.S. and Russia in a turn early.
A turn earlier.
Without,
But now with J1 and Russia one or whatever, with Barbarossa and Pearl Harbor on the table, like a tangible thing that you might want to do. I mean, we might be at war from the very beginning, everybody.
right.
No more sitting around twiddling thumbs.
But it's not necessarily just the Axis and Allies 1941 setup, starting from there, right?
No.
It's going to be kind of historically.
Yeah, it'll be tailored to lead on a historical path at that time. Now, whether you want to stay on that path,
Right.
you don't have to.
Right.
But it's not like we're gonna play G40 round one, and then okay, that's your guys' setup.
Right.
You know, it might be tailored off of that a little bit, and then we'll make the adjustments for more historical accuracies. But that's where we're going.
Okay, so obviously a map, an entirely new map change, schematic, C zones, territories.
Everything will be 100% not G40.
Cool. And so map, you can play with your Axis and Allies pieces, of course, but any pieces you might be considering to adding. You mentioned like some different heavy tanks, light tanks, or
That's
up for debate.
That's up for debate. You know, we're going to start with what we have, and then if we feel like, oh, we should do this, but I'm actually happy with the current list.
Okay. So then let's just do like a really quick.
But we want to change the stats.
Yes, we want to change the stats. Let's do a really quick, just down the country list. So Germany, he's already talked about. Germany, you've already gone into Paris and Normandy. You've already taken southern France. Greece, I guess.
Yeah, Greece and Crete will be gone.
Greece and Crete been taken care of.
They're German.
All the stuff historically that happened in that time. Germany is in northern Africa because Rommel's there.
Yeah.
The Desert Fox is battling out with Monty, right? So they're set for Barbarossa if that's what they want to do. So that's Germany. So Russia, more pieces on the front, more territories. So what's that? Japan we talked about.
Yeah.
French Indochina taken because it was set in a position to where they can do Pearl Harbor with planes only. We're going to talk about that in a second. It's a pretty cool idea. And U.S. Not a lot for U.S.
No, they were not at war yet. I mean, so you're still going to be split. We're going to have some units more units on the Atlantic than there is out of box. There's only one ship over
right.
there. Well, there's two, but one of any worth. So there's actually need a carry over there. We're going to need a battleship over there.
Right.
There's going to be a few. They're not going to be. If you get Pearl Harbor, you're not going to be out.
Right.
You're just going to not have anything really in the Pacific.
Right.
You know, except for maybe one or two things that were left over off to the side. But
right. So China.
My point is, you won't be able to retaliate. That's the whole point.
Okay, so China. Do you want to talk about the things we talked about at Breakfast for China? Or do you want to hold that back?
Yeah, I'll talk China. Okay, so the thing I want to try with China is they had no economy, so I don't want to give them one.
Mm-hmm.
We want to try. When I say try, we're going to do is just the ratios might change, but they will get units based off uncaptured territory. They're not going to have, oh, I have $2, I can't afford a guy. If you got a territory, you're probably going to get a guy. And the only way to get equipment is U.S. will have to buy that equipment and give it to you.
If the Burma
Road's open, correct.
So U.S. has to determine, is China in a position where it's worth enough slowing Japan down or even saving to where I want to warrant spending my money in China
yes.
and not elsewhere?
Yes. And no, about the money too, it's not like, don't think of it as G40, US only has $52. Everything is going to be different. The pieces are going to move differently. Or I say move differently, I like the movements, but we're talking about infantry attacking and defending at one. You know, so they're going to be less. They're going to cost less. So when you just say, oh, China's getting all these, they're going to get all these guys per territory. Well, they only defend at one, and it's not that really, big a deal because you can go get them too because they're going to cost less. So that's the main thing with China. I would like to tryouts.
No,
And like I said, when I say tryout, that's what I want to do.
Mhm.
We just have to find a ratio. Is it for every 2 territories they get a guy? I don't know. Right now I'm just looking at 1. Because you got to think, when Japan is starting at Quichao, all those, they're 2 territories in right now in startup. There's not really a lot left.
Right.
And Japan goes first. So they're going to lose even more. So it's like, you're not going to have it's not like you're going to have 10 territories drop 10 guys.
Right.
You know, it's not huge.
So,
But that's another thing, the turn order.
Save that one. Save that one.
Alright.
Save that one. So that's China, and talk about the cav for China, maybe. How you talked about maybe.
Okay, so the cavalry, the cavalry units, they had over 200,000, which came from Mongolia, which is why we added the cavalry in the beginning, anyways. So we're thinking about how we just saying about a territory. It would represent a unit. A territory that bordered Mongolia would be a cavalry unit, and we're going to lift the restrictions on 3 cavalry units. It's just
So any territory up there that China still owns, you can drop a cavalry there.
Yeah.
If it's not occupied by
correct
Japan.
as your free unit.
As your free unit.
Like I said, these might change as for 2 territories per unit, but we're going to start off with
1 per.
1 per.
Because I think in anniversary, it's every 2. You get 1 guy for every 2 territories in anniversary.
I didn't even.
Yeah.
I did play that.
But now there
once.
aren't many
Yeah.
China territories in anniversary. But
And it's just one less thing you got to keep track of. There's no
Right.
economy. There's no national objectives money. It's just listen. Just keep your territories, and you're going to keep units. You know, that's one less thing to worry about and not have to deal with.
So the only purpose for keeping the Burma Road in then is to allow the United States the option of purchasing
Correct.
tanks.
Yeah,
or-
because they're gonna get units more valued as if they had it if they had an economy and a bonus. They're gonna get more units.
Awesome. Now talk about the Flying Tiger thing we talked about. About when you lose your Flying Tiger,
Oh, if a U.S. would like to get you another one,
pony up and pay
yeah,
for the plane.
you can get another one. You know,
Because they had more than
yeah.
one
I
little
mean,
Flying
well,
Tiger.
yeah, the Flying Tigers shot down 300 Japanese planes, and I think they only lost 15 of the
Wow.
Flying Tigers.
Wow.
They were a force to be reckoned with, and needs to be represented by more than just like you have one and you're done. Now, granted, they were volunteers, and they did get the equipment. So if U.S. wants to buy the fighter and send it over there, they're more than welcome to. Now,
Okay.
we might put a limit on, you know,
like tanks too.
yeah. They might be a limit on the board per time. They might be a limit per game. I don't know, but we'll get to there. But either way, it will be replaceable at least once.
Yeah, at
You
least
know.
once. All right, so that's China. Then we go to UK. We've talked about how the United Kingdom is going to have. They had the strongest navy
Yeah,
in
they're
the
gonna-
world. So they will have even after the Turn 1 Sea Zone 110, 111 clearing, they're going to have a formidable naval presence,
They're gonna be there.
right?
And that brings us back to Germany. We're in the Bismarck era, so we're gonna have to have it set up where the Bismarck and the
On the hood.
hood can have it set up on battle.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna initiate that battle. It'll be there, whether they do it or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's another battle that needs to be on the board, ready to happen. But yeah, as far as UK, we gotta pump up Egypt and
Taranto's happened. So
Trano's happen. So
research to determine what kind of naval presence did UK have in the Mediterranean, and Italy for that matter. Like after Taranto, was Italy just done in the Med? Or
Yeah, we
were they
definitely some research on
Yeah.
on what's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen because this is where we're at, man. I'm so freaking excited to get out of G40. I'm so excited to be just like put Axis and allies just behind me and get out of that thinking mentality. Oh, this is how it has to be because this is how it is in G40. I want nothing to do with G40.
no limitations?
Yeah,
If
and
you
it's
wanna
not that
change
it's
it,
not that I
don't
don't
change
like
it.
G40 or anything. I've been wanting to take BBR to its own game for a while, and after 4 and 5, it's just I'm tapped out. There's nothing.
Yeah.
I can't say there's nothing else I can do, But there's nothing else that is going to really make me excited and involved in the project because the project is 99.9% done.
Right.
And I really don't want to play test it all year because I put 3 guys over here and 2 guys over here. I'd rather you guys now, you don't like something, this house rule it. If you think you need to have 14 VPs to win, then do 14 VPs to win. You know what I mean? It's just like you don't need me anymore. The game's good to go. Take it and do your thing.
Well, and we've not that we have to go over every single thing that you told me or we've discussed, but even like mech and artillery, I think a mech should be, even without self-propelled artillery, I think a mech should be able to pull an artillery behind it.
just like a mech and tank and blitz. I mean, we're just gonna have the mech and artillery paired can move together as two. You just have to start in the same location.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, we're definitely having tech tweaks.
Well, there's 3 things that I'm excited about. Not that all of this sounded fantastic, of course. And one thing, I've known Jason for 5 years now, and when Jason kind of gets his creative juices and excitement going, you know great things are in store because it's like the limits are off for you, which means your mind can totally go to whatever regions it wants to kind of maximize creativity, which is awesome. But there's 3 things that got me the most excited, and I liked everything I've heard. But the 3 things are the turn order, the level playing field, and the thing we discussed just before we came down here. So you want to talk about those?
The turn sequence is
epic.
Axis are going to go, but allies are going to go. And when I say Axis and allies are going to go, that means Axis are going to go. So you're going to do all your combat movements jointly. So if you want Italy and Germany to attack this territory at the same time, well, that's what you're going to do. There's no more going to be where you have to send in these units on this turn. And if it went well, now I don't have to send those units over there. Now I don't have to send Germany over there to clean up. I can go this way. You're not going to know about that. You have to commit. Listen, we are attacking now, and what that's going to do is really help. I mean, Normandy is going to be fun now. You're not going to have to send in these guys, send in these guys, send these guys. You're just going to send in the guys. You know what I mean? And I mean
the Allies attacked together.
Yeah,
not every time, but
it's not like they send in the Canadians and they want to see how well they did before they go in. They're like, I want to go in there. It's a bloodbath. You know what I mean?
It was Dieppe, so that kind of did happen before.
But you go in. You know, you're going to commit your combat moves as a team, and you're going to roll your combat moves. I mean, you're going to do all your rolling at the same time. And which this is going to remove can openers. It's going to remove some things. For example, like
you're talking about the air base.
Yeah. For example, you have Italy here, and U.S. comes in, but Germany has planes here but can't reach it. But now Italy buys an air base of where they can go, and all that's going to be off the table. It's going to take away all that kind of luck strategy, and it's going to be just strategy. I mean, you're going to have to plan your moves, and you're really going to have to know what you're going to do. If you think you're going to need a naval or an air base there to intercept incoming, you're going to need to do it, not just do it after the fact because of a weird turn sequence. Because remember, the game is supposed to play at the same time. Everybody's going at the same time. Well, they're not going at the same time if you're buying these weird things in between one person going and the next person going. This is truly, we are all going at the same time. And this is another reason why I want to put infantry at one attack and one defense. It's because, you have those stacks of guys coming in that refuse to attack because they're waiting for you to attack, so they get more credit on the dice. It's not going to happen now. I mean, when you do those invasions, Paris just can't afford to sit there and wait for you to attack them because you're stronger. You are going to have to attack them back. You know what I mean?
No,
it's going to be great. And So like I said, so the same thing with the allies, man. You've got those Normandy coming. You're gonna have the Commonwealth. You're gonna have the British. You're gonna have the America all landing at the same time, doing their battles. You're gonna have Russia and China fighting together. You're gonna have it's gonna be brutal. I love it. I just love the idea of Axis go, and then allies go.
Of course, it's all in concept now.
Yeah, no.
There'll be tweaks and stuff.
If that ultimately fails, we are still going to do Axis go, then Allied go. It would just be Axis go, player, Allied go, player.
Right.
So we're still going to keep Axis and Allies go, but I would really love to hope that it works out. We can just do go.
So it's going to
And then
be
go.
essentially it's going to be Axis punches, and then can you withstand the Allies punch?
Yeah, and Axis have to go first because we are. Otherwise, there'll be no way for Allies on the final turn to try and take any points back.
Right.
So Axis have to go first, so Allies can go last. You know.
No, I think it's an interesting enough concept to definitely.
And it's gonna be so different. It's so different.
Yeah.
And that's another thing about this BB6. It's just different. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's just different. And I'm hoping that we never want to go back to BB5. I'm hoping. I mean, of course, the occasional game maybe here and there, but I'm hoping this brings the strategy game, at least in our clique, a just up a new level that we never look back. You know.
Like I said, the great thing is if you love BB5 or even BB4, I've even seen some BB4 YouTube games on here the last several months. But if you love that, it's still out there. Still got the cards. I mean.
Yeah, I'm not going to pull everything down. I mean, I'll still support it. I still answer questions.
Right,
but there's no desire to develop it any further because it's peaked out. There's nothing else I can do with it other than like a little tweak and tweak here. I'm not going to waste a whole year on that. I'd rather just put out something. I'd rather put out the next era of Bloodbath.
So the other thing that's really interesting to me is like it kind of really levels the playing field here because it's going to be really a new experience for everybody. So even the highly experienced BBR player, or even if you're an out-of-box player that's played 6,000 hours of global, you know, all on AAA or face-to-face, whatever, we're all going to be in the same learning phase. So I think it's even going to cause the competitions to be it's more ruthless.
We are all going to be new players. We are all coming in green.
That's awesome.
And it's anybody's game for this first year for sure.
I love it.
Now, if the game isn't been developed as good as I would like it to be, BB6, when I host it, won't be BB6. We'll just play BB5 again. Or
the tournament coming up.
Yeah, we'll just play BB5 again. Maybe at that point I'll spend a little time on it, doing a few tweaks at the end, just before we play, just to put a little pizzazz on there. Maybe we play with the optional rule in the back. We just say, hey, we're gonna play BB5 with the optional rule in the back. That's how we're playing.
I love that
this
idea
year.
actually. I love that idea.
So we'll still have an event, but I'm not gonna push BB6 out unless I feel like it's ready.
Well, and that brings us to, that was actually one of my next questions, but you already alluded to that. So maybe talk about, if you want to, this last little piece of nugget that we were discussing. Because what we were doing, we were up in his kitchen, had the map laid out, we're moving some pieces around. We were primarily thinking in the Pacific, like, okay, what would it look like at the end of round one, after everybody's gone, that, you know, typical G1 moves, along with some historical accuracy type stuff.
Yeah.
And then we wanted to leave Pearl Harbor on the table. So then a nugget dropped into our head.
Yeah. Well, so last year's cool thing we did was the bombardment change.
Yeah.
And the year before, there's always been, every year there's been some really cool rule that we just do. And this year's cool rule,
I think it's the best yet, in my opinion.
Is
one of them.
Is the combined movement of carriers and planes. So the because what this is going to do is several things. It's going to make the carrier do what it was supposed to do, more being of combat operations and getting the planes to their destination, versus just like, I'll catch you if you survive.
Right.
You know what I mean? But so basically, you will be able to move that carrier, then launch your planes. Then, if you have any movement left in that carrier, you can catch them somewhere else. So, like for example, you can say you're moving from a naval base. You can move that carrier to, launch your planes 4, and just make sure they have a place to land. So they can go. So for example, if you move that carrier 2 from a naval base, the planes can go 1, 2, hit something, 3, 4, and then the carrier can move one more space and catch it. I mean, you're gonna have a combined movement from a naval base of 7. Now this only affects the water, but that's awesome. That's the only place you need it.
Right. Because I mean, that's what they did. Carriers would move into position to launch their planes. They'd get within range to launch their planes, and then catch them wherever strategically they felt was the best. So essentially, any combination of carrier plus plane movement, whether it be combat or non-combat, together counts. So carrier movement of 2 plus 4, but of course they have to have somewhere to land.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could have a carrier, like in Japan, you could have a carrier in the south and carrier off Japan, and movements of both carriers. You're moving 2, you're launching 3, and then your carriers from the south are coming up and picking up from the south. I mean,
yeah. And the whole point was we had to make Pearl Harbor able to happen with planes only. So the only way to do that was it was to give more movement spaces, and we don't want the planes moving 5. We don't want the ships. It's just the only way for. We don't want to change sea zones. We actually want to add sea zones, not be taken away sea zones. Yeah, we're trying to make more spaces within the map, not less spaces in the map. So having a combined movement of the ships and the planes was like, I don't know, it's an awesome solution. I love it. I love it.
Let me do this. I'm going to go back and read some of these.
We got some chats.
Okay, let's see what some people are saying here. Chaplain says, "Hi guys." Glenn Acevedo says, "Fist pump."
Oh,
Commander
talk to Glenn forever.
Says, "Nice, look forward to it." Godfrey Carmichael, sounds like a solid improvement to the game.
Yes.
Chaplain, not an improvement, a whole new game with a smiley face. Truly.
It is a whole new game, because what's going to happen is I want to box this game. I want Bloodbath to now be a box game where it'll come with the rentals, it's going to come with the books, it's going to come with the map, it's going to come with everything you need. And now, unfortunately, I don't have money to tool a bunch of new pieces, but it will come with chip pieces like you're playing War Room. And now I know just as much as you know, you're going to throw those away and use your Axis and Allies pieces. But the point is, it will be a complete game. It will have the piece. It will have the stupid chits like War Room. So that's where we're going. And not to say we won't do tool pieces if people like it, but as of right now, no, we're going to be using your HGB, or what do you call it, HGG, or your Axis and Allies pieces to represent the units on the board. But it will be this will be my first game, and I feel like the past 6 years where I've been testing out these rules, I'm ready to put those rules into my game. I say it's our game now. It's our game. I do this for you guys.
So would you, not that you had to name it right now, would you call it BB6? Call it BB41?
I think it's just Bloodbath 41. And then maybe we'll get to a Bloodbath 14.
Nice.
Bloodbath 42 maybe. We did the BBR 42, but maybe we can revisit that. We haven't done the 42 setup since BB3.
Yeah.
So maybe we can revisit that for a shorter game. But yeah,
So
Bloodbath, keeping Bloodbath.
Nice. So CJ Hammer Time said it's awesome. Matt Todd up in Utah is digging it. So
Thank you guys. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
A couple guys that are popped on are definitely liking. Again, if you guys know Sire Blood, either personally or have dealt with playing BBR or been to your tournaments, you know that when his creative mind gets going, good things are in store.
I'm not going to give you a crap game.
No, anything
You know,
happen.
just like I said, I just cannot fix 40 anymore. And I say fix, I mean, it's fine. It's just, I agree 100%. I wish the Allies had more time. And I did the best I could in 5 to historically do that. And it's just, 41, moving up, taking away your round 1 and giving you an awesome G4, or giving you an awesome G1.
Yeah.
And giving you an awesome setup on Japan and then we play 8 rounds. I think is the best I can do. Now we're gonna be at the best I can do.
Nice. So there's gonna be some serious smashing going
Yeah,
right away.
it's gonna be bloodbath from the very beginning.
From the first, yeah.
Yeah, and then the Allies could only really be out for 2 rounds now. So.
Oh, Godfrey Carmichael had an idea, Kickstarter.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Once this gets up and rolling or whatever, yeah, man.
I would love. Like I said, this is.
Once you get everything, once you start wanting to package it together and all that's a great idea. Nice. And there might be a delay here, guys. So Godfrey, if you typed it in like 10 minutes ago, sorry. I'm kind of watching on here live-ish, so I don't know what kind of delay I'm having.
So the goal now for me is I want to have the map. Okay, now I have a bunch of maps now. I'm going to Sharpie, but I would like to have the first map for like the 1.0, out before the end of the year for sure. I don't think it's going to take that much effort to get a prototype out. Now, as far as like making it all cool and doing all the borders and everything like that, making it all beautiful, that's later down the line. But right now, just we get the prototype, but we can actually play. Because there are some features I still want to add. We need to add the Ural Mountains in Russia. We need to add the Coral Sea, I think, and see if capital ships can go over that or not. There's a few of those I want to add. Plus, we're talking about adding capitals separately than the territory. So, for example, if you snuck in down the Baltic, the Baltic Sea above Germany? If you snuck into the Baltic Sea and landed in Germany, you don't necessarily get Berlin because Berlin's way the frick over there. You're going to have to get there. Now, granted, if you landed on Japan, well, Tokyo is on like, you can amphibious assault Tokyo. It's right there. You cannot amphibious assault Berlin. You know what I mean? So those few things on 2 new elements of the map. Probably going to make their way in there. You can't amphibious a capital if it's not on the water. You know what I mean? Few changes.
I think it's great, and like I said, I'm very intrigued in all this stuff. But like I said, the thing we talked about at the very end kind of really got me jazzed, and not just because I like playing Japan and it's an advantage for Japan, but I mean it's a huge advantage for the United States. Like we talked about how like the U.S.
because
can't get planes involved in the Normandy invasion, but now they can.
They can. Also, they can get them on the Japan invasion.
Yeah.
Before they can't.
You move your carrier out.
Then you can bomb and come back.
Yeah.
So
your parents can go. Yeah.
And same thing, landing on Normandy. When you do your Normandy invasion, your carriers can launch from D.C. The planes can hit Normandy and land on those carriers. I mean, the huge invasions are going to happen. I mean, I know people are probably thinking about, Japan, but man, I just told you, America's going to be able to do Normandy. America's going to launch their planes and carriers from Hawaii and hit Tokyo. I mean, it's going to be huge. There's going to be a lot more carriers in the going on there. It's awesome. But there's lots of changes, man. It's I'm so freaking excited. Now, as far income, I mean, incomes are going to be different. It's just a whole new game. Just think of it.
Stats probably.
But don't think of it as. I mean, you know how to play because you haven't really been playing out of box rules for a very long time.
Right.
So you're going to know about naval blockades. You're going to know about this. You're going to know
paratroopers.
Yeah, you know how to play bloodbath. You know how to play. So those rules are just, we're taking them over here. You know, I'm taking my rules back. You know what I mean? I'm putting them over here into our game.
Yeah.
You know, and the Bloodbath rules has been applied to many games. It's been applied to Anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
It's been applied to historical board gaming, 36 or 39 or something. So people have been applying this rule set to other games and having success at it. So the rule set is good.
Yeah, and any rules that are added or changed, if you've been playing BBR, it should be an easy adaptation.
Yeah.
But I think where everybody's going to be the same is the strategies and all that may be way different because of the turn order and the ability to do combined attacks, right?
And you can defend. Why can't you combine attack?
Yeah, and that with a new map, and not just a new map, meaning 3 things were changed, so you have to print a whole new map, like C-zone's different, more territories. Strategies and ways to approach victory are going to be a whole new concept of thinking using the rule set that you're familiar with.
Yeah, and we have no idea. We're obviously the VPs, all that stuff I love, but we just have no idea how many VPs it's going to be. You know, it could be 10.
Yeah,
it could, because it's so hard. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're going to start with 12 just because we've had 12 for the past 6 years now. We'll start with 12, but doesn't necessarily mean it'll be 12.
Well, cool, man. I love it.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Anything else you want to share about it, or?
No, that's it. I'll try to get on the website. I know I keep saying that. I just don't. But I gotta. There's lots of work I gotta do. Mainly is the map and the setup. So get us the first games testing. You know, we can still test without the prototype map, but we can test on the Sharpie map. Mm-hmm. But I'm being more of a perfectionist. I like to try and test things on what I'm testing on. So I don't mind spending money on map, so I can like play on the current version at that day, even though we only play on it once, and I gotta get a new map. I don't mind, because this is now where my focus is going to be.
I think it's awesome, man. I'm excited. So just stay tuned for more updates from Blood on BB41, BB6, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens, and I know that in concept it's there, and I love it, and all the little details and paths that might be taken to get to there might alter or change slightly, but
so yeah, I hope we don't lose too many. I know there's some really diehard Axe and Allies fans, and this is not really going to be just nothing wrong with that. I don't want Bloodbath associated with Access and Allies anymore. I want Bloodbath to just be Bloodbath, and that's it. You know, kind of like global historical board gaming has their thing. I just want my thing now.
And like, it's not being pulled off the shelf.
Yeah, it's just
if you got the map, you got the map.
I just
can't.
If
you want to order the cards,
yeah,
you can still order the cards off makingplancards.com for BB5 and 4. I mean,
nothing else for me to do with it.
Yeah.
And but tournaments, still want to have tournaments. Love having you guys over. So I'm just what we play. I mean, doesn't matter to me if we never play BB6 at a tournament, whatever. Right. You guys keep playing BB5. I'll tweak it just for you guys right before you get here, just to change things up a little bit. But because I'm not saying it can't be tweaked. I mean, and like I told you guys, if you think it needs tweaked, I mean, I think we're at the point now. I mean, you guys are probably gonna start house ruling it really, because there's nothing really for me to do.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you're playing with your group of players and you think 12 VPs is too much, well then lower it. If you think it's too low, then raise it. I mean, it's all you really have to do to fix your gaming experience with who you're playing with. If you guys are just so good that, I mean, just let's do 14 VPs, go for it. You know what I mean? So it's a very easy way to take the Global 40 BBR version and just up the ante or lower the ante if you're newer. So don't really need to change anything. Just VPs. How many do you want?
Cool.
You know.
That's awesome,
if you think if you guys are both head to head thinking that you're so good, I mean, one of you could be like, yeah, I can do Access. I'll get 14 VPs, and they're like, well, I'll get 15 VPs. Well, do it then. Yeah. Show me, give 15 VPs. I'll be allies.
Right.
You know what I mean? Until there's easy fix to play that game. If you have two, just like phenomenal players, very easy to fix.
Sounds awesome, man.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the updates coming in the future.
All right, man. All right, well,
Thanks.
let me go hit
All
the
right.
button.
Take care.
All right, take care, guys.
See you guys.